Breaking news from outer space, truth and fiction, same embrace. Lance and Gina lead the way, decoding.
Okay, strap yourselves in because today we are diving deep into some reports from Mars. And let me tell you, they sound like something straight out of science fiction. We're talking about NASA's Perseverance rover, the one they sent to Mars. Well, it seems to have stumbled across something that's got scientists scratching their heads and questioning everything they thought they knew about, well, physics. Imagine this, a device just sitting there on Mars, humming with energy, but there's no fuel source, no batteries, no anything.
Yeah, it's baffling. I mean, to put it simply, we're looking at what appears to be a perpetual motion machine, the kind of thing that's always been considered, impossible.
Yeah, exactly. It's like textbook impossible. And that's why this discovery is sending shockwaves. I mean, seriously, shockwaves through the entire scientific community. So let's back up a bit. What exactly did Perseverance find? I know it was exploring Jezero Crater, right? Looking for signs of ancient life, I think.
Yeah, that's right. It was doing its usual science thing, trundling along. And then, bam, it encounters this metallic sphere about the size of a basketball. And get this, the thing was emitting this strange glow, covered in symbols that nobody recognized.
Oh, okay, so mysterious glowing sphere covered in alien symbols. Got it. So what happened next?
Well, NASA, obviously, they're immediately intrigued. I mean, who wouldn't be? And what they find next is, well, it's mind-blowing. Let's just say that.
Okay, you got to give me more than that. What do they find? Spill the beans.
All right. So initial analysis suggests this thing is generating a significant amount of energy. And I'm talking a significant amount. But here's the kicker. There's zero, absolutely zero sign of any kind of input, no fuel source, no wires, no nothing.
Hold on. It's like a battery that never runs out. But how is that even possible? I mean, doesn't that completely contradict, like, the most basic laws of physics?
It does, exactly. That's why everyone's freaking out, basically. It's like, I don't know, finding a car that runs forever without needing gas or electricity. It just doesn't make sense. Not with what we know.
You keep saying what we know, and this brings us to, I think, the really fundamental principle that this Martian device seems to just completely toss out the window. The first law of thermodynamics. Can you remind us what that is and why it's so important in this context?
Sure. So the first law of thermodynamics, basically it states that energy can't be created or destroyed, only converted from one form to another. Think of it like a sealed box. You can move the energy around inside box, change its form, but you can't magically create more energy inside the box or make it disappear.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So if this thing on Mars really is generating energy without any external input, it means that.
It means we might be looking at a violation of one of the most fundamental laws of physics. I mean, this is huge. As you can imagine, the scientific community is in a frenzy. Some are even saying it's the most significant discovery in centuries.
I bet. I mean, even NASA, and they're usually pretty cautious with their wording, right? Even they've officially labeled this thing an energetic peculiarity. What does that even mean? Like in plain English?
Yeah, well, scientists and their jargon, basically it means they're acknowledging that something really, really unusual is going on, something they can't explain with our current understanding of physics. Peculiarity is their way of saying we're stumped.
We're stumped. I like that. So if we're talking about potentially rewriting the laws of physics here, what are some of the theories that are being thrown around? I've seen some headlines mentioning, like, dark energy, antimatter, even the idea that this device is manipulating, get this, space-time itself.
Yeah, I've seen those too. Those are all definitely intriguing possibilities, but we have to be careful about jumping to conclusions. Like with dark energy, for example. It's a hypothetical form of energy, right? And it's thought to permeate all of space. It might even be what's causing the expansion of the universe to speed up, but, and this is a big but, we know next to nothing about it. So some physicists are speculating that maybe, just maybe, this Martian device is somehow tapping into this vast reservoir of dark energy. We just don't know.
Okay, so dark energy is like this invisible force pushing everything in the universe apart. And maybe this device has figured out how to harness it. Whoa. What about antimatter? Filling in on that one.
Right, antimatter. So basically it's the opposite of matter. Like every particle of matter has an antiparticle. Same mass, but opposite charge. And when matter and antimatter meet, boom, they annihilate each other and release a ton of energy. A ton.
Okay, hold up. Are we talking about an antimatter reactor on Mars? That sounds a little dangerous, wouldn't you say?
It would be, yeah. But keep in mind, we're just throwing out hypotheses here. It's just one of many possibilities. And then you have the space-time manipulation idea. That gets even more complicated.
Space-time manipulation. Yeah, that's definitely getting into the whoa territory. Isn't that how they travel faster than light in those science fiction movies?
It is. It's a classic sci-fi trope. But the reality is, well, it's much, much more complicated. You see, general relativity, Einstein's theory of gravity, suggests that massive objects warp the fabric of space-time. And some physicists believe that if we, or someone, could manipulate gravity in a very specific way, you could create shortcuts through space-time, essentially wormholes.
Wormholes. Wow. Okay, so are you saying this Martian device could be a wormhole generator, like something straight out of Star Trek?
It's way too early to say. I mean, we really are in the realm of speculation here. But the fact that serious scientists are even considering these kinds of ideas, well, that tells you just how extraordinary this discovery is.
Extraordinary is an understatement. And it's not just these crazy energy readings, right? I've heard there have been some strange side effects reported near the device. Stuff that's even harder to explain.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The reports describe all sorts of weirdness, rocks levitating, clocks going haywire, even gravitational anomalies. Like, it's almost as if this device is creating its own little pocket of distorted reality.
Okay, that's just creepy. Like, reality unraveling, horror movie creepy.
Oh.
I know they're already planning a mission to Mars, though, right? To check this thing out.
Oh, yeah. This discovery has sparked a level of international collaboration that we've never seen before. I'm talking a joint mission with the US, Europe, China, Russia. Everyone's on board, and they're aiming to launch within the next 2 years, which is insanely fast, by the way, for a mission of this scale.
Wow. Okay, that's insane. It shows you how seriously everyone's taking this. But I got to ask, I've also heard some rumors, whispers really, about some, shall we say, more clandestine operations. Something about elite teams already being on Mars. Is there any truth to that?
Well, let's just say there are some interesting whispers out there in certain circles. Whispers that suggest some groups may have already sent teams to Mars, using technology that's way beyond anything we know about publicly.
A secret space race to control this technology. What would be the motivation for that?
It's hard to know for sure. But think about it. If this tech is even half as powerful as it seems, the implications are huge. Imagine a nation, or even just a private organization, with exclusive control over a device that can control gravity, or tap into an unlimited source of energy. It would be a game changer.
It's a chilling thought, and it brings up some seriously big questions about the potential risks involved with all of this. And I think that's a good place to maybe take a pause. We'll delve into those risks, the global implications, and all those ethical considerations in the next part of our deep dive. It's a Pandora's box, isn't it? We've got this incredible discovery, potentially world-changing, but also the potential for, I don't know, serious danger if it falls into the wrong hands. I've even seen some experts comparing this tech to nuclear weapons.
It's a valid comparison. I mean, we're talking about the possibility of manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe. Gravity, energy. Think about it. If you could control gravity, you could create some pretty devastating weapons. Or even more subtly, disrupt communications, knock out satellites, maybe even trigger earthquakes. The possibilities are, well, they're pretty terrifying.
And some theories suggest that this device isn't even a standalone thing, that it might be part of a network. So imagine someone controlling a whole network of these things, manipulating gravity or energy fields on a planetary scale.
Yeah, that's definitely a scenario that keeps some scientists up at night. And it brings up another unsettling possibility. What if this technology isn't new? What if it's something ancient that's been reactivated?
Wait, are you talking about those old Earth legends about sky machines and godly devices? Could this be connected to some, I don't know, long-lost civilization on Mars?
It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? I mean, we have these hints, these stories from ancient cultures all over the world. Stories about advanced technology, flying machines, beings with powers that seem supernatural. What if those stories aren't just myths? What if they're distorted memories of a time when Mars was a thriving planet, a planet with a civilization that had this kind of technology?
And maybe, just maybe, the misuse of that very technology is what led to Mars's downfall. Like a cautionary tale for us Earthlings.
Exactly. A cautionary tale. And it really underscores how careful we need to be as we move forward with this. We don't want to repeat the mistakes of some hypothetical Martian civilization, right?
It makes the whole secrecy issue even more complicated, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Some people argue that keeping this under wraps for now is necessary for national security, but wouldn't it be better to approach this as a global challenge? Something that requires transparency and cooperation?
That's the big debate right now. You have those who believe this technology is too dangerous to be shared openly. They say it could fall into the wrong hands, spark a global arms race, maybe even worse. But then you have those who believe that transparency and collaboration are the only way to make sure this technology is used responsibly, for the benefit of all humankind.
It feels like we're at a crossroads, and the choices we make now, well, they could determine the future of our species. So how do we navigate this? Where do we even begin?
I think the first step is just acknowledging the magnitude of what we're dealing with. This isn't just another scientific discovery. This has the potential to reshape civilization, to change our understanding of the universe. We need to move beyond national interests. We need to see this as a global challenge, one that demands a unified response.
And that means involving everyone, right? Not just scientists and governments. We need to bring the public into this conversation.
100%. This isn't something that should be decided behind closed doors. We need an open and honest dialogue about the benefits, the risks, the ethical considerations, the long-term implications. The decisions we make now will affect generations to come. Everyone deserves a voice in shaping that future.
Okay, so let's talk about those potential benefits for a minute. I know it's a bit scary to think about the risks, but what if we can harness this technology for good? What kind of future could we create?
Well, the possibilities are honestly mind-boggling. Imagine a world with unlimited clean energy, where poverty and hunger are eradicated, a world where we can travel to the stars, explore the vastness of space.
It sounds like utopia, a dream come true. But history has shown us that good intentions can go wrong, especially when you're dealing with powerful new technologies.
That's the truth. That's why we need to proceed with extreme caution and wisdom. We need to establish clear ethical guidelines, international safeguards, robust oversight. We have to make sure this technology is used responsibly, for the benefit of all humanity, not just a select few.
Okay, so lots to think about. International collaboration, ethical guidelines, potential risks, unimaginable possibilities. Where do we even begin to unpack all of this?
Well, a good starting point is looking at the current research. Scientists around the world are racing to understand this technology. Some teams are focused on reverse engineering the device itself, trying to figure out how it works, see if we can replicate its effects.
So they're trying to build their own version of this Martian thingamajig. That seems pretty ambitious.
It is, but it's crucial. By understanding how it functions, we can assess its capabilities, its limitations, and of course, its potential dangers.
And what about those more theoretical questions? The stuff about dark energy and space-time manipulation. Are scientists looking into that too?
Oh, absolutely. You've got theoretical physicists diving deep into the implications of this discovery. They're asking some big questions. Does this violate the laws of physics as we know them? Or does it point to new laws that we haven't discovered yet? Does it confirm things like dark energy and wormholes? Or does it challenge our fundamental understanding of the universe?
It's like, we've found this key, and it unlocks a door we didn't even know existed. And behind that door, a whole new realm of possibilities, both wondrous and terrifying.
It's an exciting time to be alive, to be witnessing this scientific revolution unfold. But it's also a time for some serious reflection. We need to ask ourselves, what does this discovery mean for humanity? What kind of future do we want to build? And are we wise enough to handle this power?
Those are some heavy questions, and I don't think anyone has the answers right now, but I do think it's important to keep asking them, to keep exploring the possibilities, and to have those open and honest conversations about the future we want. It feels like, I don't know, we're standing on the edge of something truly massive. This discovery could change everything. But I keep coming back to this idea of, well, responsibility. Are we as humans even ready for this kind of power?
That is the big question, isn't it? And I honestly don't think there's an easy answer. I mean, look at our track record. We humans were great at innovation. But we've also made some pretty colossal mistakes along the way, especially when it comes to powerful new technologies.
Yeah. Take nuclear weapons, for instance. We created them, but we're still struggling to control them. And this Martian technology, if it's as powerful as it seems, well, it could be even more transformative, maybe even more dangerous.
It's not just about controlling the tech itself either, is it? It's about the bigger picture, the ethics, the social, philosophical questions this all raises.
Right. It's about the unintended consequences. Like, imagine if we figure out how to harness this energy source. It could revolutionize our world. No more fossil fuels, no more energy scarcity, poverty, hunger, climate change. It could all become a thing of the past.
It's hard to even imagine a world where energy isn't a limited resource.
It's a fundamental shift. I mean, think about it. Almost every conflict in human history at its root has been about resources, about scarcity. What happens when that scarcity is gone? Do we become a more peaceful species? Or do we just find new things to fight over? It's a mind-blowing thought experiment. And then there's space travel. If we can manipulate gravity, create wormholes, well, interstellar travel becomes a real possibility. We can explore new worlds, encounter other civilizations, like science fiction becoming reality.
It really is. But again, we have to consider the ethical implications. What happens when we meet another intelligent species? How do we make sure we don't repeat the mistakes of our past, the colonialism, the exploitation?
It's almost too much to wrap your head around. On one hand, this incredible potential for progress. We could solve some of humanity's biggest problems. But on the other hand, this potential for destruction, for consequences we can't even predict. It's both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time.
I think that sums it up perfectly. We're at a turning point, a pivotal moment, and the choices we make right now, well, they'll determine the future, for better or worse.
So what can we do as individuals? Faced with something this big, this complex, it feels almost overwhelming.
Well, for starters, we can stay informed, engage in these conversations, ask questions, demand transparency from our leaders. This isn't just a scientific issue, it's a societal issue, a human issue.
We can't just leave it to the scientists and the politicians to figure this out. We all have a stake in this.
Absolutely. We need to educate ourselves, have those difficult conversations, advocate for policies that prioritize ethics, international cooperation, the long-term well-being of our planet, of our species.
It's a tall order, but it's also kind of inspiring, isn't it? We have the chance to shape the future, to steer humanity in the right direction.
I think so. If we approach this with wisdom, with courage, and with a sense of responsibility, well, I think we can navigate this uncharted territory and come out stronger, wiser, more united.
You've given us a lot to think about. As we wrap up this deep dive into the mystery of the Martian device, I'm feeling a lot of things. Awe, a little bit of fear, honestly, but also hope. We're at a crossroads, the future's unwritten, and it's up to all of us to decide what that future will look like.
It's going to be an amazing story, no matter what.
Well, thanks for joining us on this wild ride. And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep looking up at the stars. Who knows what other mysteries are waiting to discover.
Decoding myths from day to day. Skynet News, bold and bright. It's a cutting edge, but not quite right. Dark science meets conspiracy. Like bridging gaps with mystery. Aliens lurking, planets align. False truths wrapped in cosmic signs. Astrophysics, UFOs, we decode what no one knows. Dark Skynet News, bold and bright. Keep a cutting edge, but not quite right. Dark science meets conspiracy. Like bridging gaps with mystery. AG from the cosmos to your screen. Every